Take a look at this beautiful scenery. Notice the mountains and the outstretched green fields. Now, compare it with this. Can you spot the difference? No, you're wrong. The difference is that this image is from Thailand and this image is from Pakistan. Did you know that in Turkey people have a constitutional right to a clean environment? A right that we here willingly pulverize between our very fingers like the butt of a cigarette. We at Clean Up Pakistan made this video to try and bring attention to the problem of littering, specifically in the cities of Pakistan. Why does it happen and what you can do about it? Pakistanis produce a trash pile twice the size of K2 every year. We have littered the Saiful Muluk Lake high in the Himalayas, and we have littered water in the depths of the Arabian Sea. Even in the center of the most developed city, Islamabad, the chairman, Islamabad Wildlife Management Board, yearns for the people to maintain the sanctity of the valuable Margala National Park. Litter is also deadly. In Karachi, 3 children died in 2017 when a pile of trash the size of a one-story house caught fire next to their home, engulfing them in the flames. Furthermore, nature works in cycles. Every piece of trash that you throw is a piece of trash that will come back to you in your food and drink. Weathered down by the sun's UV rays, plastics break into microplastics and spread into every aspect of nature, from soil and water to the vessels of plants, fish and animals. Is the risk of mental stress, organ dysfunction and cancer really worth it for the mere convenience of ridding yourself of a wrapper 5 minutes earlier? In our own efforts, we gathered a team and spent 2 days giving life back to areas harmed by littering. Despite having 3 people, it took us 2 hours to clean one of the fields that was just an eighth of an acre. Think about what a monumental, almost impossible idea it is to repeatedly clean up the over 200 million acres of the country. Most importantly, littering is permanent. It is not procrastination, it is a permanent decision to have trash in your surroundings.
Look at that. I just took out like this one bag, right? This one plastic bag that's used to store things like cement, flour, whatever, and it's made of plastic thread. And this is how much microplastics or nanoplastics were left by just one bag. It's not biodegradable. All this effect was done by abrasion, like rubbing on it. But just look at it, how much effect this causes.
The organization Keep Scotland Beautiful links littering in general to larger social and economic factors. Mainly, people litter more in broken and run-down areas due to a lack of feeling of pride and responsibility for the area. And this is really indicative about why it is so prevalent here. Pakistan suffers much economic and political divide, and growing urbanization puts people away from their hometown. This likely shows why in our field research, most of the litter we found was related to construction, done by workers imported from other towns and villages, or common in areas where people from outside typically walked, like near the Nala, from where students going to school in another village typically pass by. CNN, on the contrary, claims that it is the cultural habits as well as simply laziness and carelessness that drives littering. However, our independent research shows that people do at least somewhat care as they typically litter in areas away from sight, away from mind. The Chelmsford Council in England believes that littering is caused by deferred responsibility, wherein people believe that someone else will pick it up. We conducted a survey from 100 students in our school, and only 22% of them mentioned littering as one of the top 3 issues of Pakistan, whereas 69% of them admitted to littering in the past year. Most of them claimed that the main driver of littering was a lack of care, but also said that the government was responsible to solve it. Certainly, there is some merit to this. Although richer communities are able to afford their own bins, poor people often receive little waste management facility as bins are few and far away. One contractor mentioned that the society Bahria Enclave does not provide trash collection for ongoing construction, forcing them to litter. Adnan, a local welder, suggested that the government needs to increase implementation of penalties on littering. But take a look at this, and this, or this. These examples shows the prevalence of littering is not just the government's fault, but there is more to it. In one of our own experiments, we cleaned up a plot and informed the construction workers working either side of the plot about the effects of littering, to which they expressed their approval. But after 24 days, when we went to check, there were 32 new littered items, 18 of which were construction related. This clearly indicates an element of hypocrisy among local people. However, it is possible that the trash was from somewhere else, and there was no way to verify it was not. To get a national perspective on this topic, we interviewed Director of Sanitation at CDA, Mr. Iqtidar Ahmed. He wistfully agreed that littering was a big problem. According to him, littering became an issue in Islamabad with the wave of immigration in the 80s and 90s. He claimed that littering was a cultural issue and that people do not take ownership of their rubbish. He mentioned that there are only 2,000 staff members of CDA Sanitation Department looking after the trash of 2.8 million inhabitants of Islamabad. He also said that the issue was made more difficult as the government lacked support from NGOs and media organizations who did not make a long-term effort to raise awareness against littering. The UNDP Pakistan Accelerator Labs, in a report, gave many insights into this topic. They believe that this issue is a multi-layered one and involves the individual mindset of the population just as much as the poor systems that accentuate it. People believe that handling waste is uncouth. It is looked down upon and they wish to have minimal interaction with it. People have also believed that their problems will be solved by some new revelation in the future. And this, coupled with their lack of knowledge about the real impacts of the litter, makes them careless about increasing it. They also blame that the lack of accountability in the government for companies promoting single-use items, which trickles down into people's behavior, like how the ban on plastic bags in 2019 was completely ignored, and plastic remains in common use today.
As you can see, there is a lot of debate about this topic, but we cannot blame this person or that. We must take action ourselves. The overwhelming majority of us have littered at some point or another. So, is it all hopeless? Not so. How you choose to deal with every plastic bag, bottle or wrapper you come across is a vote for the future of the country. Your actions matter because this entire national phenomenon was created by millions of people's small actions. We should also motivate others to change and raise awareness about the problems of littering on even an individual level. We ourselves went around our community putting up posters to impress the severity of the problem on people. You too should spread the message among your friends, family and co-workers so that we can turn our downward spiral of dirtiness into an upward one of cleanliness. Remember, if a person walks, it's a walk, but if a group walks, it's a march.